Have you read Admiral Stavridis' books?
Of course.
Okay, good.
I'm sure I got a blurb in here somewhere.
okay.
I'm always.
I love those. Captain Crozier, that's the guy I was thinking.
Crozier,
He was on the. Have you read this one? The leadership lessons
I have
of
not.
Cyrus the Great.
No.
It's fictional, but it's very good. Cyrus the Great is. Or Xenophon is a student of Socrates, but he's fascinated with Cyrus, this Persian king, and he writes a real book. This is sort of a fictionalized light translation of like all of the lessons of the Eastern philosopher king. So he's like the Eastern Marcus Aurelius. I think you'd like that one. And then, I had Chip Conley in here. He's great. He lives in Austin. He came up with this concept of like the modern elder. Joe Gebbia, who we play basketball with.
Yep.
He hired him at Airbnb. Chip had run this hotel chain, and basically Airbnb is like, we're all like in our early 20s. We need just like an elder.
Sure.
And so he just came in and he's just was kind of a presence. He gave them advice. He talked about problems, about work-life balance. And he's really great, but he has this thing, he calls it the Modern Elder Academy. But it's the idea of another, a sort of an unsung role in organizations that I think you would like. And then...
Okay, take me to the philosophy section.
This is the philosophy section over here.
Okay.
Do you have a good translation of Meditations?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've got a couple of them. And the one I'm rereading, is I really like it. But I had one that I actually pulled up on an ebook.
Yeah.
And the whole introduction was, which kind of surprised me. I thought, was this the standard one? And it was really this guy saying, well, but really Marcus Aurelius, was against Christianity, and he kind of goes, and the whole thing is on this Aurelius and Christianity. I'm thinking,
interesting.
I've never seen that before. And
the ebook versions are not great. I want to give you this one. This is the one. So this is my favorite translation. It's the Gregory Hayes one, and I put so many miles on mine. I bought the rights. I did a leather edition.
Yeah.
And then I have an essay in the back. But this is my favorite one. I think this is the one you want to have next to your nightstand. This is Gregory Hayes for the Modern Library.
Fabulous.
It looks like. This is what the paperback looks like. It's the same book. But
that's one I got.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so this is just this one will stand the test of time for you better.
Well, it will, because this one's all marked up.
Yes, mine is like, it's all taped together at this point.
Yeah,
so
this is the one I've got.
I did that one.
Yeah.
And then, let me see. What other philosophy are you looking for?
Oh, well, I've got a whole section. I do a whole lot of Descartes, I do a whole lot of Kant, I do a whole lot of, but I've really started to, again, I've read a lot of your books. And
have you read Montaigne?
I have, yeah.
That book there, How to Live, is really good. It's just a collection of sort of meditations from him and about him.
Okay.
I think you'd like that
Add it
one.
to my collection here?
Yes. And then, what else might I do? I'm sure you read Stockdale.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
That's Courage Under Fire. That's what I have.
Oh, yeah.
I sold my publisher. I'm going to do a biography of Stockdale.
Oh, fabulous.
Because there really isn't a good one. And so that's the project I'm working on.
You talk about kind of humility. I was in, probably 15, 20 years ago. I'm in the North Island Exchange, the Post Exchange, the Navy Exchange. I'm walking around, I'm looking for something. Elder woman comes up to me and she says, "Do you know where this is?" I said, "Oh, man, I don't. Let me spike up, So I'm kind of walking her around, and I kind of out of the corner of my eye, I'm not paying attention. Your husband's behind her, so we're walking. I'm kind of looking. I'm trying to help her out here. Oh, here it is. So then I turn around and it's Jim Stockdale.
And was Sybil the lady? Oh, wow.
And of course,
incredible.
As I turn, all of a sudden I see Admiral Stockdale, and this, he was very old, but I stopped. I introduced myself, and I think I was maybe 05 or something at the time. And he was so gracious, and they were so gracious. And I was like, wow, this is really remarkable.
Yeah.
I've got this one in Love and War.
Yes.
Which is a good one.
His son wrote a book that we have. Will you grab it over there? It's it's right next to the Mattis book. I interviewed him. Because we sort of like, I mean, now that they're making a movie about Sybil Stockton, but we sort of glance over that it was a family affair. I mean, like his son was like 9 when he was shot down.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was graduating from high school when that happened.
Incredible.
I'll give you that one, and then I'll show you what else would I do. Have you read any Epictetus?
Oh, of course.
Okay. There's a new translation of Epictetus, I would say. What about Musonius Rufus?
No.
So Musonius Rufus is Epictetus' philosophy teacher. So this is called That One Should Disdain Hardships. The title is weird. I think he's saying like to scorn, not like run away from hardships, but not be intimidated by them. But it's a series of lectures from Musonius Rufus. So not only is Epictetus a slave who gets taught philosophy,
right.
so Musonius is clearly, but he has this essay on whether women should be taught philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's like way ahead of his time as this guy who's just sort of seeing the potential in anyone. He's great too.
That's terrific. Well, what a place.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it.
This is it. So this was a Mexican restaurant.
That's it.
And this is a bar. Originally it was like a general store. It was a whole bunch of things.
I tell her, look, I don't have to develop a plot.
Right.
I don't have to create characters. I just have to tell the story that aligns with whatever I'm trying to do here.
Right.
And that's fun. And I enjoy doing that. And then I always take the stories and I bounce them off the people that were part of the stories.
Sure.
To make sure that, okay, did I get this right?
Did you? Tom Ricks is amazing.
Yeah,
Have you read his book First Principles?
Of course.
That's one of my favorites. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And then his civil rights book is really good.
It is good. I've got that one as well. And
I love his stuff. And then I heard the title and I was like, I'm not going to read that.
right, because
and then
it's out of his normal genre. I mean, he's a kind of militant, but he has really began to shift his writing narrative a little bit, and he's doing a fabulous job. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a history of the military in the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I was like, that sounds incredibly boring. And then it was like, no, it's the civil rights movement as if it was a military campaign,
right.
which is an incredible idea for a book and so smart because like I've been talking about this a lot because people think that the civil rights movement worked because it was right and that they were morally correct. Which of course they were.
Oh, it was the organization behind it.
The discipline and the strategy
yeah.
and the relentlessness and that they went on the offensive.
Right.
And so that's such a genius concept for a book. I thought it's one of the best books that I've read. It totally changed how I thought about the civil rights movement. And I think more kids need to read it because it like even I was thinking it's like they were marching not because marching is a good way to communicate. They were marching because marching was illegal, and the center of gravity was if we march, then the police will have to stop us, and then it will undermine the moral basis for oppressive policing and segregation. Right? Like they would like marching now is not illegal, so like it's not really that effective of a technique. So just I just thought he did such an incredible job on that book. I loved it.
They're great writers.
Have you read War of Art? You've read Gates of Fire, right?
Of course. Yeah.
I got to know, Stephen, that he sent me. That's the last page of the original manuscript of Gates of Fire.
How about that? No, I quote.
Yeah, you do. I remember that.
The Spartan all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a great quote. Great book.
Yeah.
Well, this is a way to get inspired.
This is nice about this. This is that's a ticket to Grant's funeral. Really.
How about that? Is he buried in Grant's tomb?
I've heard so. I actually just read a book we don't carry in the store, but it's called Grant's Final Victory, and it's about the last year of Grant's life. So all his money is stolen from him.
Where he's writing,
and then he finds out he has cancer, and then he writes the book, and it's just.
Well, you see the pictures of him,
yeah,
and you think he's handwriting all this.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on a computer.
Because he can't talk.
He can't talk, but he's all bundled up. He's got the scarf where the throat cancer is. And I mean, I've got a couple of copies of his books, and I've got a first edition.
I do too.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
And one of my prized possessions.
Me too.
And it is, but the writing is, I mean, remarkable.
Well, so he talks a lot in the book about Mark Twain's influence, but like to write a book so good that the rumor is that Mark Twain ghostwrote it is like, is there a better compliment? But also the tenacity of it. It's basically like. you realize everything that made him great as a general, he marshals in that last year. Everyone thinks he's down for the count. He's been humiliated. And then he sets out to do a thing he's never done before, which is
54 when he died, somewhere around there, or early 50s, I think.
But I mean, he has to hawk his Civil War mementos. And then he tackles this thing he's never done before, which is write a book that thick. And then he's dying, but he's like, no, I'll die when I'm done. Right. And he dies like 5 days after he finishes. Like just this sheer tenacity, you realize, oh wow, they don't make him like that. Yeah. I read a lot. It's sort of my job. You can't write without reading. For almost 15 years now, once a month, I send out an email with my favorite book recommendations for that month. Books that I've been reading, books that I've been going through, books that changed my life, that inspired me, that I think connect to what's happening in the world. And you can sign up right now at ryanholiday.net/reading list.